Hey Blood Dads, I promised you I was going to show you a look at the lodge and the surrounding area that goes towards Wakula Springs itself. So right behind me, it gives me the history about the Wakula Lodge and the surrounding areas. So I'll take you from the parking lot to a trail marker, and then into the hotel, and then outside towards the springs. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. So this gives you an idea of how significant Wakula Springs is, not only archaeologically, but historically as well. So you can go ahead and pause and read that, and I'll give my little interpretation of what I understand about this particular sign and the rest of it as we go. Okay, here we go. So here's the parking lot for Wakula Springs, the lodge. Now, as we're walking here, we stayed here before a couple years ago. This lodge was built in 1937. So you can imagine Florida has not yet been developed, and this is one of the more refined lodges of its time. This is the entranceway right into here. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that let you show that Wakula Springs has been placed on the National Registry of Historical Places in 1993, as well as a registered natural landmark in 1967. As I said, this is the entrance. So we're going to walk over here to a sign that talks about a trail that goes around Wakula Springs. So there's your designated signs as a hiking and biking, but unfortunately no horses are allowed. So with this Wakula Springs Trail, you get to do what's called a tree walk and see all the different types of listed trees as it shows right over here. Now the neat thing about it is that this trail also runs into 3 other spring runs. And those are the Sally Ward Spring Run, the Northside Spring Run, and the McBride Spring Run, that all feed into the Wakula River. So you can see it says where you are here, it shows the lodge, and then also gives an interpretive map of what you will see on that particular trail. And that's where you would go for the trail. Now back to the lodge. So this is if you are a architect or know of the different styles, this is Mediterranean style. And you can imagine back in the day, they used to have, they did have cars, but they may have horse and buggies. So at the time that we showed you in that area over there, beyond these cars, that's probably where they had either the storehouses of, maybe they would store horses and carriages of that time period. So as we walk up one of the walkways here, it's in the design of a horseshoe shape, both the top and the bottom floors. And as you enter here, and I'll have to stop for a second because I have to put on my mask. So let me pause right here and put my mask on, one-handed. I've been doing pretty good on how to do that. Okay, now I got my mask on. See, there I am, hi. So as you enter into this, you can see the style. So this would be a sitting area with a big fireplace, roundabout sitting area. I'll show you that room in a second. You would wait here while listening to the piano player, which would bring you into this dining hall. Back then we didn't have any wheels on our luggage, so they had to carry these big luggages and chests. And this is where you would probably register and check in to go into the dining area. So right here is the check-in area. And then they talk about Old Joe. And they believe this is a taxidermied Old Joe right here. So ladies and men's restrooms here, as well as the rest of the lodge accommodations. You can either go up the steps or literally take this old elevator. There it comes. I think you have to open it yourself. Yep. So these are the old style kind. And then you press the second button. There you go. Closes the door. I feel like on Tower of Terror. Who remembers that? In Hollywood studios. Pretty awesome. It opens. And then you have to open the door by yourself. And that leads you to your rooms down here, as well as over here. And let me show you the end over here, where you can look into Wakula Springs, at least part of it. Down this area, and I didn't remember seeing it when I was here. Let's check it out. Very nice. So you can imagine in this area, they had held some more dining. And that's the exit there. And through these windows, we can see a nice walkway that goes down towards that side of the property. I've never been in this room before. Huh. So now we're gonna walk down the stairs. Big staircase. Hey, Black Dads. So this is their grand staircase that goes up to the room. So you can imagine back in the 30s and 40s as they open this up. They have wonderful ambiance of being in that time area. So in this area, gift shop over here, they got all the normal stuff you would find at a gift shop. Sundries and gifts and toys and shirts and t-shirts. And don't forget about the ice cream and some specialties. Now, let's look at this piece. 70 feet 3 inches in length. This is the longest marble bar east of the Mississippi River. All 8 pieces were quarter sawn and face matched in a single slab of marble, original to the Wakula Springs Lodge in 1937. Wow, that is so cool. That's amazing. I didn't know that fact. So look at the chandeliers. Those are really neat. Beautiful stuff. I love the big bay windows. There's some more information about how the beautiful ceiling was made. As we exit here, oh, I forgot. What do you think those are? I'm going to give you a hint once we go outside. So another grand area where they had dining. And then this is the exit area to Wakula Springs. So out the door here, look at this vast area where people could recreate. Now, one of the neatest things that they have found here at the Wakula Springs site is that this lodge is actually on a National Archaeological and Historic District. This gentleman is holding up some sort of Indian stone spear piece, possibly. And these are some of the archaeological digs that they found. So this right here, if you think about it, is on the corner of that side of the building. So they have logged archaeological evidence of presence of people living here almost 15,000 years ago. There's the spring itself. So remember those teeth? They come for these animals right here, the mastodons. They found mastodon remains in these areas right here. So here's the dock. This is where the spring is. So just off of the spring right here are some of the mastodon remains. So you can imagine back in the day in the 1930s. Oop, here's some more. Oh, I never seen this one before. So Edward Ball. Let's see who he is. There, you can pause that, you can read about it. But he was an industrialist, a naturalist, and a conservationist. There probably wasn't any fencing here back in those time periods. So it was a nice easy walk from the lodge down to Wakula Springs. Some more archaeological information about the spring itself. And again, underneath these beautiful trees, you've got, can you imagine a line of people staying at the lodge, enjoying the scenic sights of this spring. And under the shade, it feels very cool. Now, this is probably the saddest part of the Wakula River. But unfortunately, some things happened back in the day before 1937 and this lodge were built about the United States and the Native Americans here in this area. So I'll let you take a look at this and you can pause it and read it. That's unfortunately a sad history of the United States. So you can imagine the significance of this particular area. Historically, archaeologically. Ooh, you can hear the thunder in the distance. All right, Blab Dads, that was the tour from the parking lot through the hotel and outside in this nice restful area here at Wakula Springs. Just being here, you can imagine being back in the day, in its heyday, before this was turned into a national historic area, that this area was a place of people from the north would come down. And of course, people back then had money. So when they had a lot of money, they would come to places like this. Or they would go to places like in St. Augustine, where they had hotels that were built in this kind of manner for the rich and for the famous. But now, everybody can enjoy it, because they can go to the lodge and stay here. Or you can park just over my shoulder over here and just be a day visitor. It's $6 to get in per vehicle, and you get to enjoy the park. So let me turn it around. From the boathouse to the spring. Alright, Bloodbads, if you like what you see here about the Wakula Springs, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, ding, as well as share this information so people who can come down here can enjoy it. I met some people from Minnesota, and they are staying with their uncle over in Palm Coast, which is just south of where we live. And so they drove all the way out here to Wakula Springs, and I gave them some information about some of the other springs that are more, let's say, they give a little bit more oomph than Wakula Springs over here, which is Alexander, Spring Glen, and Fanning Springs. Those are my favorites so far. But again, this is a spring where you can enjoy. The water 72 degrees. It's easily accessible, and on a hot day like this, you can go ahead and cool down. All right, Blob Dads, we'll see you next time. So at least for here, this is the end of our road, of our last trip here for the summer, as the kids go back to school. Okay, see you later. Bye.